on Migan here. All right, so next question from H again. How to correctly do volume and intensity days for maximal strength gains. Keep up the good work, man. All right, guys. So uh, I don't make a lot of videos on strength simply because number one, I focus mainly on hypertrophy, and number two, strength is pretty basic. Strength is I don't want to say easy, but in terms of like the thing, it's not as complex as hypertrophy in terms of all the variables involved. There's only three things you want to do to you're trying trying to increase strength. And again, how do I know this? Because at one point, when I believed that strength was the only requirement for muscle growth, I studied strength like a motherfucker, and that's when I also realized that oh shit, you could get stronger without getting, you could get bigger without getting, necessarily significantly stronger. But that's the topic for a whole different video. Watch that video if you haven't, by the way. It's called "Bigger Does Not Mean Stronger," and I combine the science and the bro science to explain why you can see strong guys in the gym who are not necessarily big, and you could also see big guys who are not necessarily strong. And I explain exactly how everything works. Mainly, anyway, go watch the video. Uh, what was I saying? Yeah. So to answer your question, the only three things you gotta focus on when you're trying to increase strength. Simple. Number one, you want to frequency. There's a misconception out there that low frequency leads to more strength. That is completely false. Again, on both spectrums, pro science and science, right? More frequency leads to better strength. You don't have to look far. Go look at people that, power lifters don't bench press once a fucking week. Olympic lifters don't train, the lift once a week. To become stronger at a lift, you have to do it more. It's just common sense. I'm not going to go into the science about the neurons and all that shit and how, the more you do a movement, the more you increase the neural drive and blah, blah, blah. Just fucking do it, right? Increase your frequency, you will get stronger. And you also get bigger. So that's one. So increase the frequency. Number two, lower the rest period. I mean, that's basic. I'm pretty sure anybody who's trying to get stronger has already read about that, right? Lower the rest. I mean, I'm tripping balls. Increase the rest periods. I'm sorry, guys. 4 hours of sleep fucks with your mind. Increase the rest periods, right? So minimum 3 minutes. Again, people say, how long should I rest? You should rest. If your goal is strength, mind you, this is if your goal is strength, not hypertrophy. Remember, there are overlaps between strength and hypertrophy. There are overlaps, but it's not 100% correlation, right? So you want to increase your rest periods, which is the opposite of what I recommend people that are actually trying to put on muscle mass. For strength, increase your rest periods, minimum 3 minutes. If you need more time to refresh and get your strength back, your actually back, things like that. Yes. The only time I would say don't worry too much about rest periods is if you're doing cluster sets or you're doing rest balls, things like that. But in general, give yourself enough time to recover and go back to the next, for the next set. So we cover frequency, rest periods, and number three, volume. Obviously, the best strength programs are not super, super high daily volume, right? Now, you could train with high volume on a weekly basis, but for CNS purposes, for recovery purposes, central nervous system recovery and things like that, you don't want to do it. You don't want to overdo it on the volume in one single session. Okay, so you don't have to keep the volume. Remember, to put on strength, people forget the body puts on strength super fucking fast until you plateau, and then obviously there's different ways to break through those plateaus. But it puts on strength way faster than it puts on muscle, right? Simply because it's in this fucking necessity, right? The body doesn't know that you're trying to, just have a nice bench or whatever across the goal of your checklist. It's thinking survival, adaptation, things like that. So keep it simple for strength. Again, high frequency, increase the rest period so you have enough, energy and strength to go for the next set, and lower the volume. You don't have to do that much volume, to put on strength. Keep pyramiding, increase the weight. When you realize that I'm getting a little burnt out, stop right there. Go home, come back a day or two later, and then hit that shit again. Right? You don't want to overdo your central nervous system. And it's like I'm telling you guys, when it comes to strength, it's all CNS. So those are the three things I'll focus on. Now, your question was on strength. Now, if you're trying to combine strength and hypertrophy, that's where we have to look at the overlaps. For example, the frequency, I'll just give you three things, right? Frequency, rest periods, and volume. The frequency part, that's an overlap. So if you're trying to put on muscle and you're trying to put on strength, the frequency thing works for both camps, right? That's why people notice that, oh man, I'm getting stronger and I'm getting bigger, and they think it's because their strength is increasing. No, it's because your frequency is increasing, really. And I could explain that in different videos as far as the chemical processes that are happening in your body. The rest period part, that's actually the other way around. If you're trying to put on muscle mass, then everyone knows about now. You want to kind of reduce your rest periods, and also the volume part has no overlap. There's no overlap in terms of the volume recommendations. If you're trying to put on muscle mass, then of course you want to increase your volume per session and weekly volume. Wherein to put on strength, you don't really need that much fucking volume. All right, so I hope that answers your question in terms of just focusing on strength. Now, if you want to combine the two, then find a good balance between the three things. Between the rest period, the frequency. Frequency is always king, so that's not going to change. And the volume. But again, I don't recommend people to chase both unless. I mean, again, well, I shouldn't say that because it depends. People want to be big at the same time. People also want to be able to brag about their lips. So I mean, if that's what you want. But if you're training just to be strong as hell and you don't care about muscle mass, then again, stick to those three things I just mentioned. Hope that helps. I hope I answered your question. If I haven't, comment below. I'm tired as hell, so kind of like twisting my words and shit. Again, like, subscribe, share, comment below. Love the questions, love the feedback, and don't forget to help each other out in the comment section as well. Team 3D Alpha, I'm out.